we've been pushing to have more business compliances workshops in the state to help our startups learn more, because understanding and adhering to compliances is something that you need to do, because it's going to help you operate legally, protect your interest, and build trust with stakeholders and investors also. GST, we all know GST has transformed the tax structure, making it more transparent and efficient. So we have also seen a lot of business people, startups, and even us as government officials struggling to actually understand the whole structure. So we are happy to have Mr. Sashi, the Additional Commissioner IRS.
Very happy to say that Nagaland is in the map of startup across India. So we have entrepreneurs here, we have startup people, we have business people here. So we would want you to explore the opportunities through the incubators, the kind of benefits, the GST, the startup policy also talks about how you can get GST benefits. And there's a lot of good things that you could benefit from under the startup policy. So please take advantage of that.
Many of you are now getting into business, entrepreneurship. Therefore, knowing something about taxation becomes important, right? On one hand, there have been instances where business maliks have hired a chartered accountant to do some tax work for them. And then I asked them, "Key problem thai je? Puisa kiman dishe?" They paid that fellow $50,000 for something which could have been done with maybe much less. Nah? So these kind of issues also you see. So if the malik knew a little bit more, at least he would ask something, and that accountant also wouldn't take him for a ride. So these kind of issues also you see. The other thing is, again, you can't afford to ignore when you receive notices from because since your bank account is linked, your PAN card is linked, so many things are linked, the tax department could easily just freeze your bank account. Then what do? You know? So these two extremes, one is you have no idea about it and you're asking an accountant, putting everything into his hands, yet he's taking you for a ride. Other one is living in that world where you're just shrugging it off and ignoring the tax department. So you can't do either. So today's endeavor is somewhere in between, so that you at least know enough so that you can take timely action. See, if I owned a business, I would also hire an accountant to do it, frankly, right? Because all that kind of paperwork is better if an expert does it. But at the same time, you should know at least the pulse points, right? Next thing I want you to take away is there are consequences. If you don't file your returns monthly, if you don't pay the money you've collected monthly, there are consequences. And given the fact that everything is online now, if for 6 months, if for 1 year you don't pay, ek din achanak apna bank account freeze hui jao. Because banks are connected with PAN cards, are connected with Aadhaar cards, are connected with phone numbers. Everything is interconnected, so it's quite easy to trace and suddenly strike down. So these powers have been given to the department to do that. So if you receive these kind of notices, my advice would be quickly come running instead of shrugging your shoulders and waiting. Because at that time we can actually help and our liability can be minimum instead of waiting for a long time, right? And obviously, by being a taxpayer, you play a vital role. Like I said initially, GST contributes the highest among the taxes. So being a good GST taxpayer, you are contributing to our national growth, right? So finally, we have our office in City Tower area, Dimapur. If you're in Dimapur, feel free. I sit on the 5th floor. If the issue is registration, come with all those documents. We'll get it done for you. If you're in Kohima, our 2 offices are here, Liri side. You come, they'll get it done for you. If it's an issue which is more technical, then surely come, because there we can offer you more advice. But for basic things like registration and all this, come anytime, right? What the department's work is here is basically what we do is we are collecting the tax, 1. 2, what we do is we scrutinize your returns, right? Every month you're filing the returns, so the department officers, they go through these returns. If they find something, that's when some letter will come to you. Now, if nothing is coming, means you are doing fine, you are paying on time, doing everything, then no issue. You carry on fine. So scrutinizing is one thing we do. There's a third and important thing we do. We have what is called an anti-evasion wing. So basically, they are the ones who can go and do a search of an area, maybe go and raid a factory. So these are more intelligence based. Maybe we got an input that someone is not paying the required amount of GST that he's required to, showing less sales than what he's supposed to show. These kind of inputs, then this wing does it. So basically, our work is mostly, one is obviously to facilitate and help you with registration and all this, but our work mostly is to scrutinize. And the intrusion which was there earlier is not there now. It's a trust basis, self-assessment. You declare every month what you're doing. So the ball is in the department's court. He has to find something wrong on documents first. He cannot walk into your shop or walk into a thing and open and see everything. That kind of earlier rough inspector Raj, that is not there. So everything is on paper. Go through. Only if he finds something not tallying, that's when you may get a letter or, right? Even if that is happening, and especially for startups, and because by the way in which you will be doing business, it would be something which we can help, we can solve, because bigger companies, sometimes the issues are bigger, but for startups, the issues would be usually something which we can address, So don't hesitate. Kohima branch as well as Dimapur branch, you can come to us.